We begin this morning with a developing story out of Western Kentucky where 10 people were injured in an explosion Wednesday afternoon at the Paducah Dippin' Dots facility.
And that spokesperson for the company confirms 10 injured employees were taken to nearby hospitals, but they could not provide an update on their condition. Now, this is an aerial footage of the scene, courtesy of the Paducah Drone Facebook page. Officials are not sure what exactly led to the explosion, but Paducah police say a truck was unloading liquid nitrogen at the facility when the explosion happened. The plant is used to make ingredients for a third party and not ice cream. According to news outlets in Paducah, all 10 injured people were able to walk out of the building on their own. Now, in 2019, a liquid nitrogen leak was blamed for an explosion at the facility which injured 4 people. Now, that spokesperson who we mentioned earlier said in a statement, "At this moment, our focus is on the well-being of our fellow employees who were injured. We will continue to follow this story, of course, and provide updates as they're available here on Spectrum News 1.
President Joe Biden stopped in Kentucky Wednesday, making the trip to CVG aboard Air Force One before crossing the bridge to Cincinnati to push his signature infrastructure plan. The president says he expects the plan to move forward despite a failed procedural vote in the Senate. Here's what he told the audience during his CNN town hall in Cincinnati.
The bipartisan infrastructure deal failed the procedural vote today, right?
It did, but that's irrelevant.
They expect to vote again on Monday, but how much time do you think that they need to get this done?
Till Monday. It's going to not only increase job opportunities, it's going to increase commerce. It's a good thing, and I think we're going to get done.
Biden's infrastructure plan includes $579 billion in new spending on roads, broadband, and other public works projects. The federal stalemate over infrastructure comes as many in Kentucky are desperate for funding for the aging Brent Spence Bridge, Northern Kentucky's primary connection to Cincinnati. Mark Polinsky, the CEO of the Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana Regional Council of Governors, says more than $1 billion in freight crosses the bridge every day. He describes the bridge as functionally obsolete, which leads to massive traffic jams.
If there's a massive infrastructure bill that really goes to roads and bridges, the Brent Spence Bridge will be one of those bridges that will be addressed in the bill. So we are optimistic, we're hopeful. We hope that Washington can get over its partisan nature and come together and do something that's really great for all Americans.
The bridge carries 3% of the nation's gross domestic product each year.
Happening today, former state representative John Bam Carney will be laid to rest. The former House Majority Leader died Saturday morning after a year-long battle dealing with health issues, including pancreatitis. Now, the visitation continues today at Taylor High School in Campbellsville, and the funeral will be at the same location. Now, Bam Carney served in the legislature since 2009 and also had a long career as a teacher before entering politics. He was 51 years old. American coal production fell last year to its lowest level since 1965, declining nearly 33% in Kentucky alone. And that was in large part to the pandemic, but the industry has been declining for years. This is according to a new report by the U.S. Department of Energy. And while environmentalists say it's time for the world to move away from coal, the decline in production is raising new concerns about the workers, the families, and the communities that depend on coal mining.
At this point, I don't think anyone is expecting coal to be the future of Eastern Kentucky. The economy doesn't support that here. And so part of, really moving ourselves into the future is trying to make sure that our communities are safe and good places to live, and making sure that these mines are cleaned up is part of that.
To help displaced miners, President Joe Biden is proposing new money for job training and to reclaim abandoned mine lands and work that would provide employment opportunities.
We're learning more on the historic settlement with pharmaceutical companies paying out $26 billion for more than 4,000 lawsuits across the country, including right here in Kentucky. McKesson Corporation, Cardinal Health, and AmerisourceBergen will be paying out $21 billion over the next 18 years, with Johnson & Johnson paying out $5 billion over the next 9 years to settle the suits. In total, Kentucky is expected to receive more than $460 million from the settlement. Opioids produced by the companies are blamed for hundreds of thousands of opioid deaths in the last 20 years. Kentucky Attorney General Daniel Cameron spoke Wednesday on the announcement and how the state can use that money to rebuild.
This makes sure that we get dollars, which ultimately is the mission and the goal. So make sure that we get dollars back into our communities, into the places where have been hardest hit, so that we can start restoring hope and breaking the cycles of addiction that, again, have plagued our communities for far too long.
Most of the settlement money will go towards opioid prevention and treatment in the worst impacted communities.
Let's turn to Mount Sterling now in Montgomery County, where a resident in an assisted living home did not let the pandemic get in the way of discovering a new passion.
Spectrum News 1's Crystal Sicard spoke with a budding 90-year-old artist about her newfound gift in this story that inspires.
If you've never painted before, it's a little bit tricky. It's fun. I love painting.
90-year-old Jane Johnson uses her painting to bring joy to others.
I took my sketch pad and sketched 3 of them because it was so beautiful.
Johnson said after she retired from being a teacher, she decided to take up watercolors. Little did she know, it would become her passion.
Sometimes you paint and you think you're going to get something else, and it turns out to be not quite exactly what you're going to paint, but that's all right.
Johnson lives at Sterling Meadows Assisted Living in Mount Sterling and says when COVID-19 hit, it meant no visitors and no painting.
It was very hard for us to paint because they didn't want you to get sick.
And when COVID-19 restrictions were lifted, Johnson's brushes were back on the canvas. The assisted living has even dedicated 2 hallways in the facility for her paintings.
It made me real happy that they would let me do that.
With a special meaning behind each painting, Johnson said she's thankful to have such a supportive community.
I had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and we lived in this big old house. And my brother Ben sent me, he had taken a photograph.
Taking a walk around the facility, Johnson's artwork is in multiple hallways, rooms, and even in the community center, bringing joy to anyone who may come across them. Crystal Sicard, Spectrum News.
Crystal, thank you for that story. And Jane hopes to continue filling the walls with her artwork in the assisted living to hopefully encourage other residents to start their own paintings. Such a sweet story.
Very sweet story, and great that Crystal was able to go there in Mount Sterling and catch up with her and bring us that story for our viewers. A interesting way to turn a negative into a positive during the pandemic.
Yeah, literally brightening spirits with those bright paintings she had, lining the walls there. I love that.
Can't go wrong with it.
Yeah, well, let's check in with meteorologist Chris Havley, because today, if you liked yesterday's weather, Mario, I think you approve because you had some pool time, right?
That's right. Well, I want that repeat appearance. So.
Hey, well, it sounds like that's what we're going to get. Let's check in with Chris to see.
Yeah, exactly, guys. We'll see it's a day today very similar to yesterday. In fact, it may be a degree or 2 cooler, so I'm sure Mario may enjoy the pool again if he makes it out there. Looking at radar right now, we are dry. Nothing to speak of as far as radar goes, just some ground clutter showing up near the Jackson National Weather Service radar site. Other than that, we are crystal clear. Some hazy skies here as we start off our morning. Temperature right now at 71 in Louisville. We're in the low 60s in Covington, mid 60s Jackson, 66 London. Right now, cool 61 in Monticello, about 10 degrees cooler than Louisville and Owensboro, who are sitting at 71, and 68 in Hopkinsville. Dew points right now, you can see the drier air over toward eastern Kentucky, upper 50s, low 60s dew points. That's pretty comfortable. Once you get back into those upper 60s, near 70, that's a little more sticky air. So not everyone, or most everyone's not too muggy at this hour. Temperatures this afternoon topping out in the lower to middle 80s east of I-65, mid to upper 80s farther west. west, and we are looking at more of that hazy sunshine with that wildfire smoke aloft. So it's not going to be a crystal clear blue sky day, but there will be sunshine coming through that haze still. Temperatures here tonight dropping down to the mid 60s in Louisville, upper 50s to near 60 in eastern Kentucky. Should be a pretty pleasant evening and night in the eastern half of the Commonwealth. A little stickier, a little warmer as you head into western Kentucky. For our Friday, more sunshine again. Highs will be back in the mid to upper 80s, looking for a high near 90 in Louisville and Bowling Green. Same thing in Paducah. Then on Saturday, we're going to really heat things up and bring that humidity back. First day of the weekend is going to be pretty hot and sticky. 92 for a high in Louisville, 90 Covington, 92 Bowling Green. Could see a spotty shower in western Kentucky. More on the weekend details coming up here in less than 9 minutes.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. We'll check in with you soon.
And we're so glad that you're with us here on your morning news on this Thursday. And coming up within the next half hour, Lexington Restaurant Week is underway, and we'll share with you what's on the menu there when your morning news returns.